Good morning to you indeed. Oh, that's such a beautiful phrase. Good morning to you, and good morning to you wherever you are as well. You know, I'll start this way. Yesterday I decided, let me take a good 40-minute walk, work my lungs out indeed. And you know, as I passed everyone said good evening, good afternoon. It was beautiful to the air indeed. And so I want to encourage you wherever you are to continue those niceties, continue doing what you know who we are as Barbadians, saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever. How do you do? And so I ask you today, how do you do? Welcome to today. Today is Tuesday, the 8th of April, 2025. I'm Pearson Bowen. Good to have you company indeed. And for those of you watching on our streams on Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, cbc.bb, welcome. Remember, as I keep telling you, share the show, send some love, do all of those kinds of things. Tell others about us indeed. Talk among yourselves, but talk to us as well. And we thank you for engaging in the ways that you have been doing every single day and for sharing the show, bringing others along to join with us. As always, if you have an idea or if you know of someone or something which you think we need to talk about on the show as well, drop us an email. The information is there on your screen. The email address is morninbarbados@cbc.bb, morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and we thank you so much for being partners with us every single day. Good having you company. Have a lovely day indeed. Now, today being the 8th, and good morning to you, Patricia Ben. Thank you for watching from overseas as well. She's bright and early, and so she's saying to all of you already a very good morning today. She says good morning to the crew as well. Our little crew says thank you, and we wish you the very best today as well. Kieran Oliver is saying good morning to Barbadians all near and far, and to you as well, Kieran. Thank you so much for waking up to keep us company too. And to remember, Kieran, one thing I ask of you, share the show. Share the show. And to you, Auntie Faye, good morning as well. She says, good morning, everyone. To you, Auntie Faye, as well. Today being the 8th of April, and in the parish of St. Joseph, they continue to celebrate adventure for regathering indeed. And so there's a whole month of things to do as you take the time to go on the adventure in St. Joseph. And so today they're having the UE Standpipe Stories. Those UE Standpipe Stories can be told on the grounds of St. Joseph Primary School. They're starting at 6 o'clock this evening till about 9 o'clock, and they encourage all of the generations of people who've grown up in St. Joseph and the generations of people who live in St. Joseph still to come down to St. Joseph Primary School and share your stories. Let's talk about our past, let's talk about our present, and let's see how our past can further influence our present as well. But those stories will be collated by the UWI, produced in a book, and so I can't wait to read of your stories. So for those of you in St. Joseph, I encourage you from 6 o'clock this evening to gather at St. Joseph Primary School. Don't miss the opportunity. It is going to be quite outstanding, so I want to encourage you to do that. As it is the month of April, which is Autism Awareness Month, we wear the color blue in all of their shades. I hope you are continuing to do so. But as you're continuing to do so, spend some time to think of those parents who have to manage their children with autism. And there's a spectrum to autism. So understanding where your child is on that spectrum as well helps you to be able to find the support you need. But the Autism Association of Barbados continues to lend support to you as well. There's a parent workshop coming up on the 13th. That's this coming Sunday at the Yacht Club from 10 o'clock in the morning, but you need to register. Obviously, space is limited. So do contact the Autism Association of Barbados, register to be a part of that parent workshop, and find ways and methods of helping your child live their most productive lives, even though they have autism. And I'm not saying, I shouldn't say like that, even though, because autism is a specialty. And I think, to have a child who is so special because they're so clever, they're so creative, it's just that they're not as social as you or me. And so I want to encourage you parents, don't sit in silence, don't sit in the dark. Just attend that parent workshop at the Yacht Club on Sunday beginning at 10 o'clock. Then on Monday the 14th, we are all going to Golden Grove Plantation for the reenactment of the 1816 rebellion. And that one is going to be quite an interesting experience as well for a number of you. That's all part of the season of emancipation. It kicks off, actually, the season of emancipation at Golden Grove Plantation. That begins at 6 in the evening, but you need to be there early to get the spot. Obviously, we can't hold the thousands of you who would want to attend, but as many of you who can, I want to encourage you. It's a live reenactment, so the actors will be doing it live. It's not a film. It's not a film, but you're going to be a part of the journey that takes you back to where we started and brings us forward as our foreparents fought for freedom. And so we want to encourage you to be at Golden Grove Plantation on Monday the 14th from 6, early o'clock. They tell us also there's going to be a room where it's like a mini exhibition. You can walk in and you can read and see the progress until then. And so we're continuing to live on the shoulders and the experience and the struggles of our foreparents in that 1816 rebellion. So be there, Golden Grove Plantation on the 14th from 6 in the evening. We good? We clear? So those are things to look forward to. I'll, of course, remind you as the morning progresses. But today on the show, Tony Olton, the change maker I call him, continues our journey as we look at self-management of our emotional intelligence. That's a very important subject. We started it last week. We want to continue this week as well. So Tony will join us in just a little while as we look at ourselves and we look at our responses and our reactions. I keep saying, as he says all the time, if you can name it, you can tame it. So understanding what you're feeling, understanding how that response and what that response triggered in you, you begin to tame it. Take the deep breath and you'll see that you'll find yourself in a far healthier space as well. So Tony will join us. Today we want to look at the golden anniversary of the Nyabinghi tribe. They have a theocratic order. And so they'll join us this morning because in ignorance, sometimes we look at them and we form opinions. But we want to be able to remove those myths and remove those opinions and replace them with positive opinions of the Nyabinghi order. So they'll join us this morning to take a look at that. You know the trumpeter with the long ponytail? Ricky Brathwaite. He's written a book. And so he'll join us this morning as we explore with him his passion, his progress, and his book. That's coming up in just a little while as well. Barbados Trust Loans, they're forming a collaboration with the Cooperative Society. We want to talk about that and how it can benefit you if you're a small entrepreneur or medium-sized entrepreneur. We're looking forward to that. We'll meet this morning too with some netballers who are a part of this ongoing Caribbean netball tournament at the Wilde Gymnasium. And Barbados is doing quite well, as a matter of fact. So we'll meet some of our friends from Antigua and some other else in the Caribbean as well who are here for this tournament. So we can't wait to share with you the exploits of those young ladies at netball indeed. But let's get started this morning with our conversations on CARICOM. You know, this is how we do it on a Tuesday morning. So joining me this morning, we have special guests. It's Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Comichon. Ambassador, good morning to you.
Morning, Pearson.
Good to have you. And you've brought along some special guests as well.
Yes, two lovely ladies.
Indeed.
On my immediate right is Ambassador Janet Stabel, Cuba's ambassador to Barbados, and she's no stranger. She's been here for a couple of years now. Yes. But our special guest is Miss Mavi Hernandez Rodriguez. She's the head of technical services of Labiopharm, which is a very famous Cuban company that specializes in biotechnology solutions and products. And she has been in Barbados for a few weeks now,
Almost a month.
I must tell you that the last time I saw her was at Q in the community.
Oh, really?
Yes, at Q in the community. So she is becoming a Bajan.
Yes. Did you have a good time?
She's in the process.
Oh, she is.
In the process of becoming a Bajan.
And I hope you are too.
Yes,
Very
definitely.
good. Very good. And you know, this is all about the cooperation, the collaboration between Barbados and Cuba, which continues. It's a very rich, real relationship. And we know we go back decades in this relationship as well. So let's talk a little bit about where we are now in that cooperation and what Mavi is also, what it means to have her here.
Well, just to put it in context, we established diplomatic relations with Cuba way back in 1972. But in terms of the cooperation agreement, the Barbados-Cuba cooperation agreement came into effect in 1997. Then in 2000, CARICOM Cuba established a CARICOM Cuba trade and economic cooperation agreement. So we have both, a Barbados one and a CARICOM one. But we had a very, very special Barbados-Cuba summit in December of 2022.
Yes.
When President Miguel Diaz-Canel and his whole team came to Barbados and met with Prime Minister Motley and our whole Barbados delegation. And out of that came the establishment of a new Barbados-Cuba Cooperation Task Force. So I am the head of the Barbados side of the task force. My Cuban counterpart in Havana, Vice Minister, He's the head of the Cuban side of the task force. And ever since then, we have been really intensifying the cooperation. So Mavi is here as part of a project involving the BIDC Export Barbados, also working with the Ministry of Agriculture. But I'll let her speak about that. But just to say that we are working on every conceivable area of cooperation, from trade to education, to agriculture, to disaster responses, to, I mean, you name it, you name it. But I also need to say that we are doing the cooperation against the background in the context of that United States embargo on Cuba. And that makes it difficult because we have to kind of jump through hoops. We have to try to circumvent many of those restrictive things that the U.S. has put in place. And I especially mention it because just past Sunday the 6th of April, we commemorated the 65th anniversary of the infamous U.S. State Department memorandum, the Lester-Mallory Memorandum of 6 April 1960, that actually set up that whole sanctions program against Cuba. And just to be very, very quick, what Mr. Mallory said in 6th of April 1960, and is a declassified document now, this Fidel Castro revolution is popular. There's no real opposition to it. If we try to bring it down from outside, we will only make it stronger. So what we have to do, we have to deprive the Cuban people of money and supplies. We have to generate hunger and desperation in Cuba so that the people will turn on their government. So a few months later, the Eisenhower administration started this sanctions regime, and Cuba has been living with it, and all of us have been living with it now for 60-something years. So I just mentioned that because that makes it difficult. But we are committed to the cooperation program, and Mavi is the living concrete example of that commitment.
Ambassador, hearing what Ambassador Camachon just said, what weighs on you in terms of being able to break through all of these things even decades later?
It's important to say that Cuba has expressed the will to expand this engagement, this cooperation with Barbados specifically, and with the rest of the CARICOM countries. So we are able to give our solidarity, to give our technical assistance of our professionals to try to getting better the skills of people here in the CARICOM area. And we want to continue doing that. That's why we are able to increase the cooperation in different areas: sports, agriculture, health. We have a brigade here, a medical brigade, and we are able to expand this kind of cooperation maybe in the biotechnology area as well. And as the ambassador said, MAPI is an example of that. But we have a potential to expand this cooperation. Agriculture as well. It's important to mention that the Minister of Sports from Barbados and Sports Empowerment of Community and Youth was in Cuba last December to sign a memorandum of understanding and to apply the possibilities to exchange in the sports area and in the work with youth, for example. So we had signed before a memorandum on education area in February of 2023 2023 that had the possibility to expand this collaboration in education as well. So it's many examples of this kind of cooperation that Cuba is able to increase and is able to expand, to diversify in different other areas. So it's a principle of Cuba to continue this solidarity with people here in CARICOM, and not only in CARICOM, in the rest of the world. That's why our cooperation in the health area, and as you should know, everyone knows, is a campaign against the medical cooperation of Cuba in this moment, headed by the Secretary of State of the United States. And we want to reaffirm here the will of Cuba to maintain this cooperation, because we is a reality that Cuba has offered health services, not offer, no export doctors. We export health services in favor of the health of people, not only in the Caribbean, in the rest of the world. It's a gesture of solidarity of the Cuban people, and we will continue doing that, and in favor of people, in favor of the health of people. So it's a particular issue that we want to reaffirm this solidarity with the world, and instead of the campaign, and at the same time, we want to thank to the leaders here of the CARICOM for the firm position against this campaign against the health collaboration of Cuba, and in particular to the Prime Minister Mia Motley, that denounced this campaign and reaffirm the will of Cuba to continue, reaffirm the will of Barbados to continue this collaboration with Cuba in different areas. So.
The resilience of Cuba and Cubans is a story that I think needs to be documented, because for decades, again, you're up against the might of the mighty North. But Cuba maintains its position, and to be able to reach out to, in solidarity, as you keep saying, and the principle of being able to do so with others, your neighbors as well, says a lot about who you are as Cubans as well. So talk to me a little bit about where this resilience comes from.
I think it's part of our philosophy of life. I think it's part of our personality. Because it's about the history. It's the history of struggle. It's the history of fight of Cuba against any obstacles that we fought by our independence. We continue fighting for our independence, to continue to maintain this independence. We are on the right to develop for ourselves. So I think this is part of our history. This is part of our philosophy. So Cuba is a lovely people. It's a solidarity people, and at the same time, it's a very strong people. So we will continue doing that. We will continue trying, developing for ourselves. We will continue giving what we have, sharing what we have, and with the support of people like Caribbean countries. And we want to thank as well to the international community that every year support Cuba in the United Nations, in the General Assembly of the United Nations, with the vote in favor of the Cuban resolution against the blockade. So last year, more than 187 countries voted in favor of this resolution against the blockade. So no one, no one and nothing will put obstacles for this expression of solidarity, for this expression of independence that Cuba have and want to continue to develop.
I love it. Spoken so very well. And I should take a break here, because I need to compose myself as well, because you've inspired a lot of us through our own ignorance to be able to understand better who you are as Cubans. And so we are well poised now to help in that narrative, changing that narrative as well, thanks to your expression just now. We'll take a break. We'll come back to talk more about Mavi and this how the cooperation really is real for us in Barbados in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
22 minutes after 6 o'clock as we continue this conversation on CARICOM and the real impact of Cuba and what Cuba can lend to the rest of the Caribbean and this cooperation between Cuba and Barbados. And so Ambassador Kamishong, I recall during COVID when the Barbados Prime Minister talked about, we must be able now to find a way to supply ourselves with what we need, basically to remind us that we have all within us as CARICOM, but us as Barbadians as well, to be able to do so and to establish a space in Barbados as part of the pharmaceutical, to build our own pharmaceuticals industry. And so it's interesting that this cooperation now brings in Mavi.
Just to introduce Mavi, two things quickly, because you're quite right. When Cuba went through that special period, when the Soviet Union collapsed, and Cuba was kind of down and out. I mean, things were really, really bad. Fidel, Cuba's president, said, look, we must build our capacity in science and technology. And even though things were very rough in Cuba, he insisted on this. And out of that came Cuba's biotechnology industry. This is where Mavi comes in. But just before going to Mavi, I want to say this because Bajans need to know this. During that COVID period, when we were able to get over 100 Cuban nurses to come and help us, and Cuba was sending medical teams all over the world, there came a time during that COVID crisis when things got really bad in Cuba. And Cuba said they had to keep their people at home. They weren't sending out any because the Cuban people needed that expertise at home. And that coincided with Barbados sending in a request to Cuba for specialist lab technicians and specialist doctors. And you know what Cuba said? Cuba said, look, we will make an exception of Barbados.
Wow.
And we will send this personnel to Barbados. That gives me goosebumps even thinking about it, right? We could never forget that. We could never forget that in our time of need, and Cuba's time of need, Cuba said, we will make this special gesture for Barbados. Anyhow, that is the basis of the cooperation that we are now engaged in. And as I said, Mavi is a physical expression of Cuba having developed that tremendous capacity and knowledge in biotechnology and biotechnology products. We in Barbados, we are now trying to develop our life sciences industry, but we are in that great position that we can ask Cuba for that kind of technical assistance. So, LabioPharm, the company that Mavi is head of technical services for, is a world famous Cuban company that articulates all of these wonderful biotechnology products that Cuba has developed, sends them all over the world. And I won't say any more, but that is why Mavi is here to help us with a particular one of those cutting edge Cuban products to help us address a problem that we have in Barbados.
Okay, well, first let me talk about Labiofan at
Sure.
a glance. No, Labiofan is a group of biotechnological companies. We are 23 companies around the country, and our main mission is to produce more than 98% of veterinary products, including vaccines, medicine, diagnostic, and others to protect the livestock mainly. But at the same time, we are diversified our productions in the different line of job, the bioproducts for agriculture, including biopesticide, biofertilizer, biostimulants. We produce the natural products too, as a nutritional supplements, very, very, very good products based in the natural source from manga tree, from banana stem, honey bee, medicinal plants. Yes, there we identify the plants called Alophinis cuminea, that from it we make a tea that the tea has a high property, reduce the blood sugar. So it's very useful to the people that suffering of diabetes. So Labiofan produce the homeopathic products too. We produce the food lines with probiotic yogurt that is very good product. But here I am specifically because was signed the agreement between both governments with the idea to implement the pilot projects using the biological rodenticides, call it BioRat, that is very effective and specific against rats and mice. So the idea is to do the trials with the objective to evaluate the effectiveness and innocuousness of this product in different places in Barbados. We are working with the people from the Ministry of Health, the Health Environmental Department and Vector Control Unit, and the people from the BADMC and the Pesticide Board that belonging to the Ministry of Agriculture. And of course, Export Barbados, they give us the logistics support. So currently we are in the first phase when we are making the identification, characterization, and diagnostic of the areas, mainly in the city places. And the main condition is that we need that there is the high level of population of rodents to evaluate the product. So now we are making training with the personnel that are involved in the pilot, no? With the methodology of BioRat specifically. And after that, we need to make the surveillance to obtain a pre-data before to apply the BioRat. And I hope that we will apply in the next week. I hope so. We are starting the application of BioRat in the city, in some places, in markets, restaurant areas, And after that, we are continuing to monitoring and evaluating. The objective is to reduce, to control the rats and mice with the biological product. It's an environmental friendly product. It's the difference with the use of the chemical.
We're so grateful for your expertise. Honestly, I've listened very keenly to what you were saying, and it seems so deep into what you produce at your farm, Labio Farm, and to be able to assist Barbadians in managing situations here on island as well. How receptive have you found the Barbadian people to be to this exposure to you?
Yes, it's a good note. The people, the Barbadian people, it's open to do or receive the transfer of the technology, the receive of all the knowledge related with this kind of product. The idea that Labiofan and Cuba have is to become Barbados in our door to the Caribbean, because this is our will. We want to introduce the different kind of product and service step by step in the agriculture area with the use of bioproducts. And all the Barbadians are very, very happy with that. I feel that.
And that's a good feeling. And thank you for that feeling.
Yes.
So, Ambassador, here it is. We're diversifying our economy. We're providing opportunities for scientists on the island and other people who are alongside them as well to be able to contribute in a big way to development of Barbados through the great work of Labio Farm. And so this is just a part of what we're doing.
Yeah, well, and I want to really single out Export Barbados. And especially their CEO, Mr. Mark Hill, who's a real visionary. So yes, we have the cooperation, Barbados-Cuba Cooperation Task Force, But within that task force, Export Barbados has really driven a number of initiatives. You began by talking about autism.
Yes.
Export Barbados has actually sent Barbadian child to Cuba, autistic child, to benefit from the services that Cuba provides with responding to autism. So, Cuba, maybe because Cuba has been under this pressure for so long, Cuba has developed capacity in many areas where we can benefit. But Cuba can also benefit from us,
yes.
right? So, for example, for decades, we had the Cuban scholarship program where Barbadians were going to Cuba on scholarships. So I'm so proud to be able to say that about 2 years ago, we reciprocated and we started a scholarship program for Cubans to Barbados. So we have had students come in to study English as a foreign language at the Barbados Community College. And just as Cuba, when we were in need in COVID and they made that exception for us and sent those personnel, we have responded when Cuba has been in need, and Barbados has sent supplies to Cuba,
right.
Assistance. So it is a one love relationship, but you're quite right. We are now in the beginning phases of developing a new component of our economy, a life sciences industry. And Cuba is going to help us with this. So in addition to the relationship with LabioPharm, Export Barbados, BIDC, they also have a memorandum of understanding with Bio-Cuba Pharma, which is like Cuba's, the entity in Cuba that is really in charge of research and development pertaining to pharmaceuticals, to biotechnology products and so forth. So the cooperation is very tight and led by Export Barbados, BIDC. You're going to see a lot more of these kinds of initiatives.
I would love to see a lot more of these ladies as well, honestly, but time is against me right now. But clearly, this is a subject area that excites me. I think it excites our viewers as well to know that it is happening and the possibilities that could flow therefrom. And so we want to thank each of you. Ambassador David Comishon, Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, Her Excellency Janet Stabler, Cuba's Ambassador to Barbados. Thank you so much for bringing the expertise from Cuba and the passion and the will to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
You're
to
very
you
welcome.
And to the Ambassador Commission.
You're very welcome. And Mavi Hernandez Rodriguez as well from LabioPharm.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here to impart knowledge and to help us develop our Life Sciences Center as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
so
Pearson.
much.
It's a pleasure.
Boy.
It was a real pleasure.
Isn't life in CARICOM beautiful? It is lovely when we cooperate in the ways that we do, and the outcomes can only bless us as a people indeed. We're taking a break. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth. Some ask, what makes Barbados so special?
Here's something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely, and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can reach out whenever you need to talk.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
25 minutes now to go to the hour of 7 o'clock as we continue our journey through in dispelling ignorance. Sometimes ignorance binds us and we're not quite sure why we're there, but when we break through, then we see the light ahead and we are surer of who we are. And so we want to introduce now to the Theocratic Order of the Reign of Nyabinghi. That's they mark their golden anniversary. Joining me right now is Ras Isaiah and Ras Aaron. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Pearson. Good morning, Barbados.
Good morning, Pearson.
Indeed. And
good
so,
morning, Barbados.
Good to have you, gentlemen. Talk to me about what it means, about the Nyabinghi, because a lot of times we just think it's Rastas only, but that's not simply what it is.
Yeah, it's an order. And you know, from 1930 in Jamaica, after Haile Selassie was crowned King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Conqueror, that is where the light of Rastafari came from. So the order of Nyabinghi was set in the 40s by Ras Bonjis and them ones from Jamaica. So it was really in Jamaica and it come down here in 1975. And it is like the churchical order where, and they give thanks and praises and drumming and chanting. That is the order that was set to the Nyabinghi.
So there's an order. And it's like a church. When I think of the church, for instance, let me use the Roman Catholic as an example. The Roman Catholic has their own Vatican City, where they have their own order, they operate by themselves, they have their own police and so forth. Is that the concept of the Nyabinghi?
Not really, but we have a tabernacle. Tabernacle is a circle. You know, when you look in the Bible, you see tabernacle is that circular form, the 12 poles, that's what we said. Well, you will say the mother house is Jamaica, because that's where it all started. But it is the Nyabinghi, the churchical order. It means it's a tabernacle where and I go and praise the Almighty, I Haile Selassie, and we does it on, it's in like every Sunday thing, is specific occasions, and almost every month there's occasion, except December. But every month there's a occasion for any to go and chant.
Okay. What does it mean, Ras Aaron, to be a member of the order of Nyabinghis?
Well, adherent to the principles of the Rastafari movement, recognition of His Majesty as the King of Kings, the use of the herb as sacrament, and principles of an upright and moral manner of living.
So how does one become a member of the order of Nyabinghis?
Well,
be a Rasta?
Yeah, as a Rasta, and then you can also become fully knowledgeable of the principles that make you
right
an adherent to the walk as a Nyabinghi.
And I'm glad you said it, because oftentimes we just look at it here. I think that's all it is to Rastafarianism, but it's more than that.
Much more than that.
So what is it?
Yeah, well, it's like everyone just says a principle, and but this come from, you know, even before the 1930s, and then I had the Black Power movement where ones were becoming conscious of themselves, right? Well, in this now, the locks is a part of you seeing, identifying yourself. So then it is, as Rastafari, you start seeing things even different to how the normal society see things, and you become conscious. And you know, as a Rastafari, we start doing certain things like eating meat and them kind of things. And it's a natural progression. Because you see that after a time you realize that from observing, you may have this consciousness, it is deep within yourself, but after a while it's come out and you just naturally try.
Yeah. It's now 50 years you're marking, and so do you feel that over those 50 years that people get it, that people get you, they have an understanding of what you do?
In a sense, some, but in Barbados, the Barbados society, I think they have a idea, because people just observe you very, very keenly and just realize that if you're doing something that they know about Rastas, because people know that Rastas do this and Rastas don't eat meat and Rastas don't, and if you're doing something contrary and you will lost the Soviet, you're in a Rasta. So at least the society have an idea of of what Rastafari is to a certain extent.
It's an order, and it's a way in which you operate, and that's what you're celebrating now after 50 years.
Yeah, because 50 years is a golden jubilee, and that is because we could go in from how it start. It start with, and a matter of fact, I will let Iran give you the portion of how it started from 1975 coming from Jamaica.
Iran?
Yeah, well, Ikel Tafari, he was going to Mona campus in Jamaica when he became acquainted with Ras Bonagis and was introduced to the Nyabinghi faith. After a certain amount of time, Ikel thought it would be he's reasoned with Ras Bonagis and thought it would be very beneficial if the faith was brought to Barbados, the principles of the faith. So out of that, what he told me was that he had purchased some tickets after speaking with Ras Bonagis, and they decided that a delegation would come from Jamaica to Barbados. Namely, Ras Bonagis, Nedley Seymour, and Jack Puff Lawrence, along with Ikel himself.
Right.
So the four of them embarked on the visit to Barbados in '75.
And here we are now, 50 years later, still going strong. Right. You look at it, your temple is in St. John.
Yeah.
All right. So how are you marking the 50 years? I mean, what events do you have? You could tell me about it. I have it. Yes, thank you for sharing it with me. So tell me, what events are you having to mark this 50 years?
Right. Well, we're starting on the 19th of April, and we have ones coming from Jamaica the same. We have a delegation coming in from Jamaica, from St. Vincent, and some ones also got the desire to come. I didn't get them formally yet, but we will get more ones. You know, some ones coming from America also.
Right.
But yeah, we have a craft market on the 19th.
Nice.
Right? And I could let Iran even fully learn some more on that craft market, because they was doing there's one of the Rasumi that's in charge of that, and Iran got all that information.
So Iran taught to me, it's at Freedom Park, Golden Square Freedom Park.
Golden Square Freedom Park is the venue, and we start at 10 in the morning. And we expect to have a number of artisans displaying the various craft, ital food. We would like several people to come out and get samples and tasting of Rastafari preparation of different vegetarian dishes. We will have ones, lettercraft, people will be there, basketry. We expect to have some of our elders that are quite knowledgeable in the use of various herbs, Ras Ayels, Baba Aylot, and a number of ones will be coming through. African garments will be part of the offerings.
So it's a full craft market with food
full culture,
and craft that you can buy. Don't just look at it and walk away, but buy it. Lend support indeed. And so that's important.
We will appreciate as much people as possible to come out and really.
And it's in a beautiful spot in Freedom Square. And so we want to encourage you on Saturday the 19th from 10 in the morning till 10 in the night. So 12 hours of engagement in the craft market in Golden Square. And so we want you to come down and reason a little later on in the evening as well, right?
Of course.
And we also be drumming and chanting. That is what we do. So we be drumming and chanting. And
so there's entertainment of some sort. But yours is not entertainment. Yours is part of your rituals.
Right.
So while you're engaging in what you might consider folks to be entertainment, there's a reason for it.
Right.
So to engage in a positive way. Then on Sunday the 20th.
Right. Sunday the 20th now is the beginning of 3 lights of Isis, will be called praises, we call it Isis.
Okay.
That is for the visit of Haile Selassie to Barbados and to the Caribbean. But he visited Barbados on the 21st, and incidentally also land in Jamaica on the same 21st. But there's 3 lights for that visit of Haile Selassie to the Caribbean. So we start in Sunday, and as you can see, we have a fire lighting ceremony where, because the fire, we have a fire, and this fire is significant for our night. The fire stands for the representative of the Almighty. Is a pure fire where you cannot put no stuff, nothing to eat, nothing so. So we bless the fire, and we start, that fire burns continually from it start to finish, going out.
And the finish is on the 28th of April? That's what you're saying?
No, only 3 lights. 3 lights. We are finishing, but no, it can happen too, you know, because Jamaicans, even sometimes you have to get celebrations, we have 7 lights of Isis non-stop, you know, because when the thing about this Isis is when you get in the spirit, we call it irate, you get into that and you start. You can't say, well, look, I can stop at this time, you stop at 9 o'clock. Because the irates is just trod, and we just, you know. And then on Monday, Isis continues at the same Mount Carmel Tabernacle, and that's the day when you, from dawn to dusk to dawn. Dusk to dawn.
You know, which is a little different now. And so you want to honor on that day Haile Selassie's first visit to Barbados. And then on Tuesday the 22nd, you seal up Isis of the 3 lights. What does that mean? Well,
that's the last day, so we call it sealing. With the sealing then in the morning.
Go ahead.
When it finished. It's fully finished. In the finish of the morning, we get into a lot of reasoning, where because you know there's a lot of prophecies, we prophesying, reading, and interpreting when I reading, and one's testifying, you know, what Rastafari have done for them and that kind of thing.
This is open to just Rastafarians or just average people to come?
No, everyone can come. It's just a dress code. As a woman, you have to wrap your head, cover your head, and long skirts, and the arm sleeves.
Don't show too much flesh, ladies,
But anyone is invited, matter of fact, everyone is invited. And men, they can't wear the short pants, and your head must be uncovered.
Okay, cool. And but you're taking a tour around the island on Thursday the 24th, and on Friday, what are you doing on Friday the 25th?
Right. Friday now is a panel discussion at UWI, Art Lecture Theatre, where you can have a representative from Jamaica, St. Vincent, and Barbados. And we're reasoning on the Rastafari movement in general, just to put it like that, because we'll be reasoning from the 75 years, you know, from Jamaica now, the Jamaican brethren, he could reason from all 1930, how it goes. So, and the sister, she'll be representing the Rasta women, because people are always asking about the role of Rastafari women in the world. It's very interesting.
Nice. And that's on the 25th of April, folks, from 6 until 9 at the UWI K-Field campus. Idle food will be on sale, by the way.
That's right.
Ras Iron, on the 27th, you have another market day. That's at the same location. That's a free. It's called free market. That's a free day.
That's just a free day.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that's where ones from overseas can choose whatever activity they want to engage themselves in.
Oh, you don't want to pack.
All right, good. Agreed. But then it begins to wind down on the 27th with a family day at Farley Hill National Park, and then on the 28th from dusk again till dawn. Why is it always dusk to dawn?
Yeah, because once we gather to it, sometimes it might start. Once gathering, you got a portion of ones be ready to start. You know, sometimes it might start not from dusk till 9 or 10, but once gathered, you got that.
Follow the energy. Yeah. Follow the energy. All right. And then you're having that celebration, seal up Isis and reasoning again at Mount Carmel Tabernacle. Yeah. And so, folks, there's a whole slate of activities. If someone wants to know more, so that they keep tracking and remember when or where, how can they do so?
They could contact me for sure. 239-5901.
239-5901.
Ras Isaiah.
Or they can make contact with myself, Ras Iron, and my number is 287-2293.
287-2293. 287-2293.
Correct.
Got you. And get more. But it's open to everyone. You do not have to be a Rastafarian, but if you're curious about it, then perhaps this is a time to resolve your curiosity. Come get to know more.
Yeah, we will have ones to come out and ask them questions and become clear on many aspects or interpretations of the scripture that they may not be clear on. This will be the ample opportunity that they could really come forward.
Yeah.
The university lecture is really a good lecture to come out to.
I think so too.
We have Ras Ivoy from Jamaica. He's a prominent elder in the faith, very knowledgeable, and so it's good if one could come to the university art lecture theatre.
That's on the 25th.
Right.
All right, folks, there's more to come. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Congratulations
Thank
on
you
your golden
very much.
anniversary,
Thank you
man.
very
All
much.
the best indeed with your celebrations, and I wish you well as you continue to educate Barbadians more.
We want Barbados to come out and give us their full support and help us to really, educate the society and help to counteract this wave of criminality and killing that's going on.
That's right.
It's time to stop the killing.
And one way to do so is to come with you, line up with you guys. All right, so it's more than hairstyle, it's more than dress, to get to know more, get deeper into it, indeed. So thank you, gentlemen, and I wish you all the best.
Give
all right?
thanks.
Thank you.
Amen. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Listen, Barbados' best known trumpeter, Barbados' best known musician, Barbados' best known band leader, Barbados' best known. Dr. Ricky Brathwaite is with me right now. Dr. Brathwaite, good morning to you, sir. You like that?
I love it. I love it. Pearson, it's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too.
The last time we were together is when we were at another media house.
We could call it Starcom Network.
We call it Starcom.
Where you were the music director.
Correct.
And I started my broadcasting career with Ricky Brathwaite as my music director, indeed. Boy.
You see, all this is in the book because a lot of people don't know these things.
Am I mentioned in the book? Is my name
you might be. But that book is yours, so you can.
Thank you. And the book is called Blowing Through the Thick Black Smoke.
Yeah.
And, when I would look at the theme and the title of the book, I thought, the smoke is darkest when it's really rich, a rich, deep fire. And sometimes one can't see one's way through the thick black smoke. But we know once that black smoke dissipates, there's salvation at the end of it all. So talk to me about why this title, first of all. What's that black smoke you were looking through?
I want to put this over correctly. It is nothing negative. It is just what I have had to go through to get to the level that I am at now, coming from humble beginnings, right? And all of that is in the book. But some people don't like people to know where they came from and what they did before, who they played with before, like Law Radio, for example. Like I did all that. So it is just a lot of things I've done in my life, including karate and becoming a 5th-degree black belt. Wow. And a lot of things I've done that a lot of people don't know, because I'm not the type of person that goes on Facebook and posts all these little things every day. I'm not that type of person. I'm on Facebook, I'm on all the social media, but I'm not a poster. So I go out and play and perform and do things that people don't even know. You wouldn't see it in the newspaper.
Yes, yes.
So that book is really my life, not everything, but the things that would have impacted me over the years. And I thought I should share it with the people. The pros, the cons, the negatives, the positives, everything is in there. As it happens, I flipped to page 16 right away. I don't know why, but it told me, as we earlier mentioned, my brother, mother, and father played in the Salvation Army Band. Correct. And then it goes on with the big caption. It says, play what? Why that question in there? Play what means I taught myself to play the trumpet. Whoa. So that's my mom, who was telling me from day one, don't touch the Salvation Army horns. They would bring them home to clean them and so on. And she said, don't touch the people's horns because, and all that's in the book, because I have no money to pay for them. But I would practice every day and try to understand what was going on. And she came home one day, was so excited that I was able to play the C scale.
Whoa.
That when she came home and I said, Mommy, I had to tell her. I said, Mommy, you know, I could play the trumpet. I could play C scale. So she does what she did. She said, play a what?
Nice.
Right? And, and then, yeah. And then she said, go and bring the trumpet, let me hear.
Yes.
And she had water in her eyes. She almost cried.
You know, but I love that because, again, out of your passion came this. You taught to yourself, and then you had to refine it over time, of course, as it goes. Yes. But you also had the opportunity to play, like, for instance, in Gabby's Battleground Calypso Taint. Yeah.
You just turn that page automatically.
Listen to me.
But you were something. You were always a gem, you know. No, I'm serious. I'm not saying this for the camera. You're always a gem. I mean, I want to say it on the air because people don't give people credit in this country at all, right? Unless it's some political affiliation or something. So I want to say it on air. You were, from the time you came to Radio Fusion, I told Carol Scott, who was the program director, I said, that guy is going to go far. This is not a joke.
I appreciate that. But you know, well, no, you said so, right?
Yes.
I remember one of my first time because we were playing Oldie Goldies. We were supposed to be playing Oldie. Appears a boy in the 80s. This man called me up and said, listen.
No, I came in shooting.
Yes, listen. You know, I was thinking the format. but this to me was Oldie Goldies, but no. How to get into format?
Because I was listening to all the stations at the same time in my office.
Yes.
So if somebody
see your office there.
So if somebody deviated
at all
from the format, Dennis Johnson would tell you something. He could feel the heat behind the door before I got in the studio, right? And I would just, no. What are you doing? This sounds like a different radio station or whatever. But that's all it was.
Ricky would just turn up, man. You know, get back on track. But the book chronicles your life, as you said, because you went in then after playing from Gab, not just after, but you talked about family life. You talked about a whole host of things. This is truly a labor of love.
Yeah.
As I see it, and as I'm flipping it, I haven't had a chance to read it fully. Yeah. But you know, you talked about then being the QC boardroom at Harrison College and so forth.
Yeah. I still teach there at Harrison College. They have an after-school program. I'm the trumpet tutor there.
Whoa.
I've been there for 12 years. So I have to leave that legacy. So I'm actually doing that like a give back.
Yes.
Even though I'm paid for it, it's a give back to Barbados.
This is a fascinating book. It's called Blowing Through the Thick Black Smoke. It's by Ricky Brathwaite. It tells his life story. And sometimes, you know, you saw a book underneath the tree. I started reading about you. That's what Ricky started to do. You see how you get it? I got it. And so this book allows you to be able to read about Ricky Brathwaite. It's a fantastic. Where can you get a copy of this? People.
At mostly bookstores in Barbados.
Okay, good.
Including the museum bookstore. Or you can order it online at Amazon.com.
Nice.
And you can buy it from me as well.
Yeah.
Autograph. As a matter of fact, just before you go on to the battleground stuff, this trumpet here is about 40, 50 years old. A lady came in from Toronto, but Canada, and she was looking all over for your book, couldn't find it, and she wanted me to bring a book for her, and she wanted it autographed, right? I went to Christchurch, delivered the book, and it so happens that she is the daughter of one of my mentors, trumpet mentors, when I was a cadet in the police band. And she said, this is yours. You should see the case. The case looks so beat up. So it has some issues, but the significance of it is more important than the issues.
Hold your thought, Ricky.
Yes, sure.
I have more time with you, my friend.
Sure,
I just got the best news ever. I can spend more time with Ricky Brathwaite, indeed. The book is called Blowing Through the Thick Black Smoke. It's available locally. It's available on Amazon. And we're going to continue browsing this book and telling the story of Dr. Ricky Brathwaite after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7 o'clock. Let's take a look at the news now. Government is moving full steam ahead with provisions that will allow police officers to access special vehicle loans. Attorney General Dale Marshall says the day these law enforcement officers will be able to do this is quickly approaching. He made that announcement while delivering remarks at the opening of the two-day Barbados Police Service Annual Grand Conference.
Over the last two budget cycles, the government has announced a number of important initiatives aimed at improving the conditions of police officers. Of those announced in last year's budget, I can say that the subsidiary legislation to allow more officers to access a loan for the purchase of a vehicle is expected to go to Cabinet shortly. I believe, in fact, within the next week, so that it can then be laid in Parliament. That is all that is now required to make this commitment a reality.
Mr. Marshall adds that while the establishment of the rank of police senior constable has taken longer than expected, it will soon come to fruition.
I'm informed by the Commissioner that the last input that was sought by the Ministry of the Public Service from the Police Senior Command was submitted on March 14th, just gone. In this year's budget, we have just committed to allowing special constables of more than 3 years on the job to transition into the regular service. This has been greeted well, and I am informed that all save one special constable has expressed an interest in transitioning. Commissioner, we have asked that you recruit a further 60 special constables, and I can tell you that the funding for those posts has been voted in Parliament. And I therefore ask that you have your officers set about that recruitment process with the greatest possible urgency. This recruitment must not be delayed.
The Attorney General says while the regrading process for jobs across the public service is well on the way, that process will see much awaited improvements being made to the remuneration of police officers. Well, the Regathering 2025 Secretariat is conducting a monitoring and evaluation exercise, that findings of which will be shared with the public. However, Minister in the Prime Minister's Office with responsibility for culture, Senator Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight, says thus far they've engaged over 66 entrepreneurs at the marquee events. She was speaking as a guest on The People's Business.
Those 66 entrepreneurs, coming to your question now, span different areas as well. So, of course, when you talk about the cultural sector, a big section of the marquee events, again, are also about the entertainment that happens, the performers, etc. But we don't just hire performers. It's very deliberate, right? So you would see that in the cast that makes up those performers, that they're very local, very community-based, because it allows for exposure for people who normally would not get a big stage to perform.
The director of the Regathering Secretariat, Senator John King, is reporting an uptick in business through the commitments.
In all three parishes that we've done so far, if you were privileged to have the opportunity to go to what we call the corner shops and the little, watering holes and different things like that, people have been saying all the time they are so grateful for what is happening, because they're seeing an uptake in business, especially with other people coming from across the island and coming into the parishes. So like in St. Lucie, for instance, when they had what they call their Pickle Saturdays, you had people coming from all across the island and going into St. Lucie just to be involved in that initiative.
Captive insurance is a critical industry for Barbados. That's according to President of the Great Pacific Group Barbados office, Colin Mitchell. He says it differentiates them from tourism, as the insurance industry commands the largest slice of the service sector. He said the public is not always aware of the captive insurance industry, but it employs a large number of people in high-paying jobs.
Our captives also contract out to other service providers, so they all need bank accounts. They all need investment managers. They need local directors. We need to get an audit every year. And so you're employing people across different sectors are benefiting from the captive insurance industry. And then our clients travel down here. So, and they stay in hotels and they go out to restaurants and they need a driver when they go around. So a lot of people benefit from this industry, and it's an industry that not everyone is even aware of is even here.
Well, the future of the captive insurance industry is bright, but the company president cautioned of a slowdown in the economy.
The difficulty in buying insurance for corporations on terms that they are acceptable to them. And the actions of the U.S. government is not going to help making it easier to buy insurance. So a general slowdown in the economy aside, it's probably good news for the captive insurance industry.
The Great Pacific Group officials said 25% of all premiums go to captives, and that percentage is trending upwards.
Companies that are comfortable self-insuring their business and will do so tend to be the better performing companies, meaning the ones less likely to file claims. Okay, so if AIG and Lloyd's are losing the best customers they have, the ones that don't file, they're only left with the ones that file most of the claims. So it's self-perpetuating. That just means rates are going to keep going up, and if rates keep going up, captives are more appealing.
Let's turn to sports now. Hosts Barbados are a perfect 2-0 after winning their consecutive games in the 21st Jean-Pierre Caribbean Youth Netball Tournament at the Village Gymnasium. After easily taking their opening game on Sunday against Antigua and Barbuda, the Bajan Baby Gems also easily defeated Dominica last night 40-16. Barbados led 10-4 after the first quarter, 26-6 at halftime, and 34-9 after the third quarter. Goal shoot Mikel Aline made 29 of 31 attempts for a 93.55% accuracy, while her replacement Tyra Griffith was a perfect 2 for 2. At goal attack, Taisha Trotman was a perfect 6 of 6 and Brianna Wallace 4 of 4. Today and tomorrow are rest days for the Baby Gems. They next play on Thursday, St. Lucia, at 8 o'clock at the Village Gymnasium. And in what was an eventful 2025 Shakedown Stages rally, Stuart Maloney and co-driver Christian Yearwood came out on top of the 8-stage event. With a look at that action is Anne-Marie Burke.
Spectators took up every vantage point as the Shakedown Stages rally was in the north of the island, with some 54 cars having faced the starter. It was quite an eventful day that saw 37 of those cars actually making it through the 8 stages to finish. And you must remember this is the dress rehearsal for the upcoming BCIC Rally Barbados. And so here are some of your group champions to look out for. Driving away with the Modified 2 class behind the wheel of their Toyota GT86 CS R3 were Neil Corbin and Jeremy Gonzalez. Fastest in Modified 4 class were Kurt Thompson and Adam Straker. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 9 was clocking. He has been so consistent and hard to beat in Super Modified 2. Rhett Watson with Andrew Cronin navigator's seat. The BMW M3 is tops again in that class and fastest two-wheel drive on the day. Now for your top 5. In 5th, Mark and Justin Maloney in their Skoda Fabia Rally 2 Evo. Rob Swan and co-driver Tom Woodburn in their Skoda Fabia Rally 2 Evo came off the line gunning, being fastest on the first stage, but when the dust had settled, ended in 4th. The Skodas were on full throttle, as third fastest were the Jamaicans Jeffrey Panton and Mike Fellow Jr. You hear that engine? More celebration in the Jamaican camp as Kyle Gregg and local boy Ori Hunt by his side were second, just 0.53 seconds off our winner. And here he comes, Stuart Maloney and co-driver Christian Yearwood. Home drums beat first. Shakedown Stages champions with a winning time of 14 minutes 09.88 seconds. We can only imagine the action that is coming for Rally Barbados. Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. That concludes our news. More news at 12 noon right here on TV8. Morning Barbados takes a break. We're back with more in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our
Good morning to you.
Red roses too. And I think to myself, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people. What a wonderful world. All right. Well, even the audience are applauding it right here. Well done, Ricky. What a wonderful world. Louis Armstrong will be so proud of you, man.
Well,
you had the chance to talk to him. Remember, folks, the book is called Blowing Through the Thick Black Smoke. It tells the story and the journey of the times and the challenges, the successes of Dr. Ricky Brathwaite, who is, as you just saw, our best at trumpet indeed. And so, Ricky, this book is available. I had a viewer from Nevis who raised the question. Yes, yeah, that did watch all of the world.
I got to order more books now.
You got to order more books because there are viewers in the United States or in England, everywhere, who are going to want copies of the book. And they're asking, can they get a Kindle version?
Sort of. I'm about to action that this week, where you can actually read the book online. Nice. I can't remember the format, the name, but you can read it online. So sort of, yeah.
Good. So Sonia, now you have your answer to your question indeed. And to Norma, you'll have your answer to your question as well coming up.
I was looking out there for Sonia, but I didn't realize you talking about Nevis.
Talking to Nevis. Talking to Nevis right away. But that shows you, though, the breadth of the audience who know you and love what you do. And the book chronicles all of your journeys because you've gone into places, most of them, gone into places and spaces to play.
Yeah.
Where's some of the memorable places you've been?
King Hussein Palace in Africa.
Whoa.
With Mighty Arrow. Arrow is the guy that did Feeling Hot, Hot, Hot.
That's right.
Yeah, and I mean, that was like a fairy tale event. You know, and the king was sitting down like here.
You're touching your microphone, eh?
Huh?
Let me tell you now, Mr.
Sorry.
Sir, in my studio.
You're in charge. You're in charge. Right?
Yes.
So, playing for the king of Morocco in Africa, in the palace where the pillars are made of gold. I mean, if I had to explain it, yes, right there.
You wouldn't believe it, right?
Yeah.
But my finger was already at the page.
Oh, Jesus.
And as it happens, Providence
What's going on this morning?
Behave yourself. This is exactly where I am. And so you talked about that, but you also went on and talking about that experience in playing in King Hussein's palace, about the disrespect from Arrow. What happened there?
Yeah. What happened is that my wife, who was my girlfriend back then, I had brought her up to New York for 2 weeks. And Arrow calls and want me to go to Africa to play, which would take away 1 week from her vacation with me. So I told Arrow, well, you got to pay for that. He was already paying me well, but you got to not double, but step up on the money for that. So he didn't like it, but he couldn't find anybody else to play like me. So in Africa now, we're up there now, and we finished playing and whatnot, and he knocked on my bedroom door. And I said, come in. Arrow walks in. He said, Ricky, you want your money? I said, oh, that'd be nice.
Yes.
And he said, look at here, look. And he rolls up the check and throws it on my bed.
Oh, no.
And I was like, he's probably joking.
Yes.
But then when he left and I opened the check, I realized it was a check with signatures and everything. So I had to take a kerchief, a wet kerchief, put it over the back, press out, steam it out, and so on. So when we got back to New York, I thought it was so disrespectful. I'm sorry, I enjoyed my time with him though.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
It was unnecessary. So we got back to New York now, and his manager calls me up and said, Ricky, Super Bowl. I said, Super Bowl? I'm going to be drinking a bowl of soup shortly. Right? I finished with that, not playing with Arrow anymore. And that was it.
That was
Until a couple of months before he died, he called. I was in somebody's office, and he calls and he said, I want my original trumpet player back on tour with me. But I didn't know he was sick. And then 3 months after, he was in a wheelchair, then he went blind and, he passed away. But I was going to go back and play with him because that was a little while ago, and you can't hold these things in your heart.
Forever, no.
Yeah.
You talked about performing with U.S. international greats like trumpeter John Faddis.
Yeah.
You played with saxophonist Joe Henderson. I mean, these are greats.
Yeah.
And you, Ricky Brathwaite, played with them.
Yeah.
Again, the self-taught man on trumpet.
Yeah. Well, self-taught at that point, but then don't forget the school in New York after. And then I went to police band first.
Right.
And got a fairly comprehensive rounding off the edges and so on. And then when I went to New York, then that studying with LIU, Long Island University, that was
Ricky.
How you find these things in that book so
She's
fast?
all bread, but stop talking about where I'm going.
You got a gift for that kind of thing?
Right here.
Jeez, you.
Right here, but I'm glad I led you there.
First time seeing the book. I don't know how you do it.
But you've done so much.
Yeah.
And you've done so much well as well. And and you brought so much good to people from their experience with your ministry in music.
Yeah.
And when you stop to think of it for just a moment, the book is one thing, but have you just lie down and just closed your eyes and relived your life? And if you did, what did that do to you?
I did recently for the first time in a long time because of the book. Because to write the book, you have to relive certain things. And I sat back, and I want to thank the NCF out as well, because they sponsored the book, right? The business development arm of the NCF took care of the book, so I have to give them some credit, okay? But then I started reflecting, and some water came from my eyes and so on, because I also work at Amman Resorts as a director of entertainment, and I hired like 51 staff between St. Lucia and Barbados, and groomed them, took them off the street then, and give them a steady income when the month comes and so on. So I don't think about it, but in writing the book, certain things came back to me, and I had to relive certain experiences and so on. So, yeah.
Ricky, you're phenomenal. You're honestly. But what I love is your humility through all of this. You know, when people see you, they always see that smile. We see the ponytail too.
Yeah.
But
wait a minute.
It's still there. It's always been there. And this young man, the photographer here, he has had a ponytail too. And Grant Lee, his brother, who Grant Lee's on here at the moment at Master Control. Well, Grant Lee also works here. Grant Lee had a ponytail as well. So they patterned themselves after you, naturally.
Probably. I don't know.
Probably, definitely, they patterned themselves after you. But your humility keeps you grounded.
Yeah, I think so.
Still do.
And my belief in God.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
I got serious faith. Faith that you can't even understand.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't understand it, indeed.
It might sound cliche.
No, but it's true.
But it's true. Very true.
I get it. Trust me,
That's why everything I touch. When Ralph Taylor called me up to run the entertainment, to put together an entertainment department, he told me, Ricky, this is going to be difficult. I just pray. And God led me to everything I'm supposed to do. And I hired 30 entertainers in Barbados, 21 in St. Lucia, and I used to be back and forth, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Lucia, Barbados. Had two offices, one there, one here, and nobody understood how I got that done.
Yeah, I mean, the Amman band was the band.
Right.
I'm telling you, you got that right. But you produce great music, and you've put them on there on CDs. About 3 CDs or so.
Yeah, I have 3 solo CDs, CD albums. Yeah.
Right, and so they're available. We play your music still on TV, as you know.
Oh, okay.
We still share your music on TV because we still want to expose the very best of Barbados.
Yeah.
And you are one of the best of Barbados. The foreword was written by none other.
Eddie Grant.
That is right.
One of my mentors again. Nobody else could have written that but him. I called him up and he said, Rick. Rick, that's a question, Rick. Right? And he just did it in one day.
Typical
Sent to me,
Eddie.
yeah.
Typical Eddie.
Eddie
But engaging with these stalwarts in the industry, though. I mean, I know you've risen yourself to the stalwart status.
Yeah.
How was that like for you?
Kind of intimidating, you know, because when I first met Eddie Grant, he caught me looking at him one day. He was on the mixing board and was just, this is what money look like. I was just watching him and he looked around at me and caught me.
Yes.
You know, I was just like, man, so
simple.
successful, and you know, but he liked me. He always did, and I played on every single record you can think about coming out from Eddie Grant's studio.
Wow.
All the Griner, Gabby, Saucy. I arranged Saucy. And right, he produced it. Right, so I learned a lot from him in terms of phrasing, not just playing notes, but playing notes that have a certain form, certain culture. It is nuances in music. Is more than people think, you know.
That's true.
Right. So
that's true. And there's a part in the book that speaks to that as well, you know.
Yeah.
See, it's all in there. I haven't read the book from cover to cover, but I've glanced through the book, and the book you can read for yourself, which is by Dr. Ricky Brathwaite, Blowing Through the Thick Black Smoke, with forward by Eddie Grant. And certainly it's available online. It's available at bookstores in Barbados as well, but it's a great read. Ricky tells his story. Ricky tells about his time from humble beginnings to who he is, a very successful musician, arranger, everything. Ricky has told his story. And so we want you to read his story, but not just read it for gossipy sake. Read it because it gives inspiration perhaps to the next genius as he is. And so I want to encourage parents to get it. Not just for yourself, but share it with the children in your household as well, because it's possible. And it's possible because Ricky has lived that possibility. He shows you how to do so indeed. Well done, Ricky.
Thank you.
I salute you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time that you've shared with me at StarCom, developing me as a broadcaster as well. And this is fantastic. To be able to tell you that now in the flesh as well means much to me.
Thank you very much.
You've been very instrumental in who I am. I talk about you still. You know Mikey Mix. Mikey Mix, you know, we were having a conversation upstairs not long, actually a couple of weeks ago.
Are we still on there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you obviously, did you say go to break? Right, I was talking, and I was saying to Mikey.
Normally people don't give you that kind of credit.
It's the truth.
In public.
So
I was like, wait, is he doing this on camera?
It's the truth, Ricky. I will not tell but the truth.
Thank you.
And so it's a little group of us, and we were talking, I was sharing with them what you've done for me.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to have been able to do so and to tell you.
I'm glad you're telling me, because I would not have known if you come to Mornin Barbados.
No, you wouldn't.
But I thank you, and I really appreciate you, right? And I think you're a gem.
Thank you, Ricky. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now I can say Mornin Barbados takes a break. We're back in just a moment.
Yeah.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Jesus Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds. Open your heart and experience General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and feel his love. Greater love.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Indeed, good morning to you. It's 24 minutes after 7 o'clock. Very shortly, we'll be connecting with some of those netballers who are on the island for the ongoing netball competition at the Wilde Gymnasium. I can't wait to talk to them a little bit about that as well, and how we're doing and how they're doing as well to be a part of that tournament. Remember, we're standing in the month of April in support of autism. We are now a lot more aware of what autism is and how it affects people. And so I want to encourage you to, as you stand in support of it, to continue wearing shades of blue. Blue is the color of autism. And wherever you see those tables in the malls where they have trinkets and gadgets and t-shirts and so forth, spend some time to purchase or make a donation, because everything goes towards assisting those with autism. The Autism Association of Barbados thanks you for your kind support indeed. And so we turn our attention now to the ongoing work of the Barbados Trust Fund Limited, and they're making some significant strides in helping small and medium-sized entrepreneurs really achieve their fullest potential. Joining me right now is Kurt Dotton, who is the Business Development Manager with the Barbados Trust Fund Limited. Kurt, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Pearson. How are you?
I'm doing well. How do you do?
I'm good.
Good. I know you're in partnership with the Cooperative Society of Barbados.
Yes.
And so talk to me about what that is and what you're doing.
Well, I can say this is B2B community-based initiative, which is being spearheaded by the Ministry of Energy and Business.
And B2B means business to business?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, and I said community-based and spearheaded by the Ministry of Energy and Business and the Cooperative Department and the Trust Fund, along with the Financial Literacy Bureau, which fall under the Ministry, and the Office of Insolvency. We decided to embark on this initiative with the Ministry's consent. And we are riding on the momentum of the regathering, because we started in St. Lucie, we went to St. Peter, and we went to St. Thomas, and we'll be going to St. Joseph this weekend.
This weekend?
Yeah. And it's a community initiative whereas we really want to get back into the communities to really feel the pulse of persons, especially to foster entrepreneurship concept from a community level, because those are really indigenous businesses are. And strangely enough, we've been around for, I can say, about 6 or 7 years, and sometimes people say they never heard about the trust fund. So we decided.
Some people do. Yeah, I know we ran a campaign with you. Sometime when I came back to Mornin Barbados, it was so pleasing to showcase the number of entrepreneurs who benefit from the support, not just the funds, but the support from the Barbados Trust Fund Limited. And I'm glad that you're able now, again, with the regathering campaign, to get back out there to touch flesh to flesh, business to business, with people who are entrepreneurs of any age and of any stage indeed. And so this weekend, where are you going to be in St. Joseph?
Well, we're going to be in St. Joseph. We have another hearing on Thursday, so I would leave that to my colleague. But I basically came here this morning to really sensitize Barbadians on the initiative. As I said, it's community-based, and we're going to start the process with some walkthroughs, which we did in St. Peter, whereas we mingle with the businesses in Spikestown to get the feel about business, to tell them about the trust fund, tell them about the cooperatives, tell them about the business support organizations. Because at the end of it, as I said, we want to sensitize the public about entrepreneurship as a possible option of employment, but also to get feedback so that we can feed back into the ministry, because part of the initiative also, as I said, is spearheaded by the ministry, but particularly the Small Business Development Unit, which is responsible for policy. So all of us, we are working together, and we can feed back in to really hear what's going on the ground, and then at some point in time, really implement policy that really benefits these micro, small enterprise sector.
You've answered the question I wanted to ask. That was, how can all of your hearing from the feedback influence your products and services?
Yeah.
Is that part of the initiative as well?
Yes, because at the end of the day, we're looking to onboard persons within no loans into the portfolio, and the other business support organizations, they're also looking to onboard persons within the respective portfolios. But coming out with COVID, COVID has passed, but small businesses are still suffering. Some are trying to get back on track. And at the BTFL, we are in a position whereas we've been able to assist persons get back on track. So getting that feedback would be necessary to influence policy for the future development of the SME sector.
So look out for the Barbados Trust Fund Limited. They're going to be engaging with small and medium-sized businesses to hear your story, to hear your challenges, your successes, because you inform the next stage in helping others as they go. So look out for them in the parish of St. Joseph this month of April as they move around. And so if you see yourself already in that space and you're thinking, I need a little bit of assistance, reach out to the Barbados Trust Fund Limited, because as I said initially, it was not just about funding alone. You give advice, you give support.
Yes, we provide a lot of business development support, which we're really trying to press down on, because you would know, and for instance, worldwide, most micro lending institutions, they will have a funding arm, but the important part of the institution would be the business development, would be the mentoring. And throughout the exercise that we're doing now in the community, we're going to do the walkthroughs to integrate with the persons, business people, but we're also coming with a business networking session, which is aimed at bringing together seasoned entrepreneurs with young entrepreneurs, whereas we're looking to sensitize young entrepreneurs about the pitfalls, the do's and don'ts of entrepreneurship, and really try to leave a lasting impression within the communities, whereas we can have senior persons involved in businesses trying to mentor younger persons, trying to bridge that gap to build the experience and capacity of young entrepreneurs. Third aspect of it also to the program, we'll be having community-based training. So we'll be going into parishes, for instance, with St. Joseph, we do a walkthrough in St. Joseph, set up a networking session for mentorship in St. Joseph. Then would be the community-based training, where we're going to be focusing on areas such as cost and pricing for entrepreneurs, trade and export sensitization, to really trying to build the capacity. And the climax would be The fourth would be attendance of trying to get trust fund clients from within the parish or within the portfolio attend the monthly marketplaces within the parishes so that they can have the opportunity to showcase their products. And along with the trust fund clients, we would have started a cooperative from amongst the portfolio. So we're also going to give them the opportunity to come out there to showcase their products and get the necessary feedback from the public.
You know, Kirk, again, you're in my mind. Because I'm talking about the benefits of cooperatives.
Yes.
Oftentimes, entrepreneurs want to do it alone.
Yes.
They figure if I share it with someone, they will take the share of the size of the pie.
Yes.
But cooperatives function a little bit differently from that. It's about finding aligned services that are not necessarily exactly as mine, but we somehow align in some way to provide more benefit to that customer.
Yes. Yes, the cooperatives, my colleague from the cooperatives department unfortunately couldn't be here, but he's part of the program too. And he would, when we go on the road, he would sensitize persons of the cooperative. And a classic example, although it may not be the special cooperatives, because we started from the BTFL, we started with clusters, and then we migrated this group into a cooperative over to Mr. Giddens and his team. But from a cluster cooperative point of view, even with the situation with the tariffs, in terms of trying to get persons to come together to buy supplies so that at the end of the day, when you do the distribution or the money that you would basically put forward for the order would be less and spreading it equally. And that's something that we possibly would need to really press the on in terms of getting persons to work closer together to minimize the outflow to each business.
We're in the fourth month of the year. You've started this in January, this initiative going into the community and really engaging through the regathering. Are you feeling success? Are you seeing success at the Barbados Trust Fund Limited?
Yes. Measured, and like with any program, whether it be public or private, you have to put mechanisms in place to really measure the impact. So part of the program, we've actually built something into the execution plan so that at various levels of the program, we are going to go back and evaluate to see if we're reaching our objectives and measuring it to see what needs to be tweaked. But in addition to moving with the gathering, we've decided at the trust fund and the whole team that this is going to be an 18-month exercise. So even outside of the gathering, because it augurs well for our target also too from the trust fund and the ministry, whereas we need to get back out there and really rub with the everyday.
Rub shoulders, and get out there and be a critical part of what they do, because that's where you get your understanding of how you can help. If you're not there, then you're just getting anecdotal information. And so if you look around, you will see the folks from the Barbados Trust Fund Limited visiting you, not to pry into your business, but certainly to get a sense of what your challenges are, what is your reality, so that they can assist you in whatever ways that they can, and they can assist you in so many different ways. And so I want to give you some information to talk to us. How can we call you if we want to be able to reach out to you to begin that process of talking to your officers?
The number is 228-3275.
Slow down.
228-3275.
3275. 228-3275.
And when last we met, we've moved actually to a fully online loan system.
Nice.
So basically you can go to trustloansbb.com and you click apply here, and it will have all the information for you to upload the information to apply for the loan. And I just want to encourage every citizen of Barbados who may be interested in starting a business, especially young persons too, because we assist school leavers or persons in school. And we just want to encourage you, look at our social media to see where we're going to be at. We just want to encourage persons really to come out during the regathering events and feel free to interact with the staff or the members of the participation organizations, because we are here to help. So as I said, persons interested in loans can come out, get information, and we will guide you on the right way in terms of how to access the funding, how to access support from a business support organization, because you may not be ready now to start the business, you may not be ready for the funding, but we can guide you to the direction with one of our partners who can get you ready, get the business model canvas ready, so that when you come for the funding, it will be a seamless process.
Indeed.
At the trust fund.
Indeed. Well done. Kirk Dutton, the Business Development Manager with the Barbados Trust Fund Limited, indeed, encouraging you to go online. You just saw for yourself what it looks like when you log on, so you get a sense of how you can apply online to have funding through the Barbados Trust Fund Limited. But most of all, look out for the officers through the regathering exercises in St. Joseph. This weekend, they're going to be about. They're looking forward to engaging with you in your small business environment, so that you give them a sense of what and how they can help you. Thank you so much, Kirk.
Okay, thanks.
Wish you all the best with the initiative.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome indeed. Morning Barbados is back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Jesus Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely, and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can reach out whenever you need to talk.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Hi, I'm Fire Officer 295 Turden, First Vice President of the Barbados Fire Service Sports and Social Club.
Hi, I'm Fire Officer Holligan, Secretary of the Barbados Fire Service Sports and Social Club. The Barbados Fire Service is celebrating 70 years. Come celebrate with us. The club, we are hosting football, cricket, and road tennis. Hope to see you there.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scald. A look into the future.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
20 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock as we turn our attention to netball, folks. I'm sure you've already been at the gymnasium. You've seen the young ladies, or they're competing one against the other, teams competing. It's the Jean Pierre Caribbean Netball Tournament on. And so joining us to talk a bit more about this are some of the ladies who are representing their islands indeed. And with me is Dr. Carmita Duggan. You know her as president of the Barbados Netball Association. Dr. Duggan, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Pearson, and good morning, Barbados.
Good to see you. Here we are now. We are in the Jean Pierre Caribbean Netball Tournament. Talk to me about what it means for Barbados, one, to host it, and how exciting is this really?
Well, it's extremely exciting, and this is our 50th anniversary. So we really wanted to host this tournament during our 50th anniversary. And this tournament really started back in 1998 as Caribbean Under 16 tournament, and then was renamed in 2004 to the Jean Pierre Caribbean Youth Netball Tournament. And we really want to see the gymnasium full of people. We've been getting some good numbers coming out, but we need to see an increase in numbers. And we really would like to thank all of the sponsors that came on board to make this possible.
Well done. I mean, how many teams are part of the tournament?
There's 6 teams participating. You know, it is, there are 5 here. St. Lucia is missing actually. They're having training this morning because they really want to come for Barbados. You know how it is. Yeah, but there could be a lot more teams, but it's expense. Yeah. It is getting corporate in each country to sponsor the young ladies to come out. So we're happy that we can have 6 teams participating in this tournament.
That's fantastic. And I'm happy too, as we are as Barbadians. I'm going to boast all you ladies. Barbados is beating them bad. Right, Miss Naya? You're representing Barbados. Yes, talk to me a little bit about your winning ways so far. What does it mean for you ladies to be able to win? The baby gems.
Yes, it feels nice to win. At least the opening game and then to come and win again. It's showing stamping our dominance in the competition as we have won 3 years consecutive. So we're just looking to do the repeat.
So you want all of Barbados to come out to lend support, right?
Yes, we need everyone to come out and support.
So far, so good.
Yes.
Who are you playing next?
We are playing St. Lucia next.
And what do you think?
I feel like we can beat them.
Come on, girls, say it with confidence. No, we feel we can. We shall beat them.
We are going to beat them.
There you go. That's it. So Barbados, we need to come out and support the Barbados baby gems in it because, as she said, we're going to beat them. I love your lot, Delicia. Delicia is from Antigua.
Yes.
And so, are you the captain of your team?
Yes, sir.
Aha! You know we beat you already.
Yes, sir.
But who else are you playing now?
We are playing Trinidad and Tobago tonight.
Aha! So who do you think is going to win?
I think we have a good chance of winning, and I think our team should have faith.
You think so?
Yes.
Is this your first time playing in the tournament?
No, sir.
And how many years have you played as one of the juniors, the youth?
Just 2 years.
Just 2. And so last year, was it last year that you competed for your team?
Yes, sir.
And how did the team do last year?
We did better, and we came out second, and I am very proud of my team. But we have new members, and we have to understand our teammates, and we're trying to get through and pull through.
All right, well done to you.
Thank you.
Now, Delicia. This is the Delicia now. You're from Dominica.
Yes, I am from.
A beautiful island.
Yes.
Are you ready for the tournament? Are you really competitive in the tournament?
Yes.
Who have you played so far?
We played Barbados
and won?
Grenada. Huh?
And who won?
Both.
I love it. You're in for the competition. And you played Grenada already?
Yes.
And who won that match?
Grenada.
Grenada. So what are you going to do about that?
Well, we're just going to improvise. There are certain areas where we need to capitalize on. So we're going to be working in the areas to come back better and stronger for the next.
Are you having a good time in this tournament? You've met new friends and so on, right?
Yes.
So, but you clearly love the game of netball.
Yes, indeed.
Why?
Because it's a safe space to free up your mind, teach you discipline, sportsmanship. And it's a good experience. You get to travel, and
Well, you're really a true ambassador for the game, indeed. Hello, Roshana.
Hi.
How are you? You're from Grenada.
Yes, I am.
You're here in Dominica.
Yes.
You know how Dominica feels about playing against Grenada.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about your team and your preparation.
Well, me and my team, we've been training non-stop for the competition, and we lost against Trinidad, but it's okay because we have certain players on our team is first-timers. Only 2 that was
before.
Yeah.
So a little bit of experience, but not enough. So it's a relatively young team, but so far it's a good team.
Yeah.
And Trinidad, who you're playing against next?
Oh, we played Trinidad.
You played?
Yeah. And Dominica. Our next game is Antigua, which we are coming back for strong.
Look at Antigua's face. Oh boy, there's revelry, but I love it. I love it. It was for a good cause. And Michaela Grant, you're from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, sir.
So talk to me a little bit about your team.
My team is really fun. Everybody's been together since I think a year ago. We have some new players as well, but the experience in netball.
You have some experience in netball.
Yeah.
And you're ready for the completion of this tournament. How many more games do you have?
We have 4 more games.
4 more. And between now and the end of the tournament, you can take the title.
I hope so.
She hopes so indeed. And so, Dr. Douglas, this is what it's about. These young ladies are, you could see that they're made friends. They're passionate about the sport of netball, and this must mean so much for the sport of netball.
Yes, it does. And not only we're playing netball, but we're looking to have a leadership program. We want to have a holistic tournament. And tomorrow, Wednesday, we're having a Speak Sister Breakfast Summit. And at that summit, these young ladies will be gaining some leadership experience. We've actually invited some parliamentarians. We have Honorable Chantel Monroe Knight, who will be coming and speaking about her journey in politics and any pits and falls of her journey in leadership. And then we also have Marcia Cattle, who will also be speaking about her leadership journey. And we have some of the mentors like Cynthia Ford, who will be at the table with the young ladies and discussing. So each table will have a theme, and we'll be looking at violence, we'll be looking at mental health issues, we'll be looking at climate change, we'll be looking at youth development. And each of these young ladies will be sitting at a table discussing and engaging as they have their breakfast. So this is a key part of our tournament. And it has been a key part of the Jean Pierre Caribbean Youth Netball Tournament every year. And each country tend to tweak it to their own. But this year we want to call it Speak Sister, because we want these young ladies to speak out about some of the issues in society throughout the Caribbean.
And this is so important, I think, as a developmental tool to it. Netball is not just the game you play on the court. There's so much more to the development of the person. And I know Dominica is nodding because that's her passion as well, to be able to bring out more than who you are, but to engage with others who walk the walk, who can show you where to go and the pitfalls and so forth. So the Speak Sister is good. The tournament wraps up on
Saturday night. We have an
So soon?
Yes.
It feels as if you guys have just started.
You know?
So soon. But we want everyone. Can we pay at the door? How do we get in?
You can pay at the door. It's $5. Season tickets are still available at our box offices. Carlton and A1, Emerald City, and CS Pharmacy.
Okay.
But we want it easy for you. Just come to the door, you pay $5, and you get in. And I must say, one of the Barbadian rivals we've noticed is Trinidad and Tobago. They've been looking really good in the tournament so far, even though we have just started. So we want fans to come out on Friday night, because that's when Barbados will be playing Trinidad and Tobago.
It's going to be a ding-dong battle.
So that is going to be ding-dong battle, and we need all the crowd support that we can get at that time. Barbados is also playing on Thursday and on Saturday. So we're inviting, and you can go on to our Facebook page and our IG, Netball Barbados, and get all of the information, all of the results, all of the games, everything.
Good. So folks, we're going to the gymnasium. Now, today's what, the 8th? Today there's a game on, Dominica versus St. Lucia and Antigua and Barbuda versus Trinidad and Tobago. It's free on Wednesday, but then we get back in on Thursday into the gymnasium to continue the competition. Ladies, I wish you well. All of you very, very well.
Yes.
Dr. Douglas, Douglas, thank you again. It's so good to see you again. So wonderful to see you. And to all of you ladies, I wish you the very best with your respective matches, okay?
Thank you.
Don't get afraid that Barbados is going to win. Don't be afraid of that. See it as a challenge and go after it indeed. But thank you. We wish you well. Mornin Barbados will be back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Jesus Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds. Open your heart and experience General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and feel his love. Greater love.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely, and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
She's on, Brad. I only have 8 minutes. 8 minutes left to talk to Tony Alton. Is that possible? Can we do it all in 8 minutes? I'll take the challenge. Tony, have you accepted the challenge?
Yes, sir. Make wise use of your time. It's all the time you have, so let's make the best of it.
You see, again, living in the moment is only the time that you have. This is all Tony Alton, folks. You know him, my good buddy. He laughs.
So happy to see you.
Good to see you as well, man. We were talking about self-management last week. I don't think we got through this, you know. I mean, and so I wanted to continue this with you because I think it is so critical as part of the journey towards emotional intelligence and managing who we are and our responses and our reactions to matters as it goes. And so we talked about having the plan. You must know your destination. You must have a sense of where you are so that you can determine how you get through. And so I want to continue looking at that now, how to be adaptable and resilient.
Well, how to be adaptable and resilient. So what we've set up is we've taken responsibility for the rest of our lives. We've determined what we want the rest of our life to be about. That's that sense of personal vision and mission and the values that we're going to live by. The next thing is, how do I manage myself in the context of time? Notice I didn't say how do we manage time.
Yes.
How do I manage myself in the context of the time that is available to me? So there's a very powerful model developed by Stephen Covey that I ascribe to my life, and it's the one that I teach. What it says is, don't manage yourself by the clock. Manage yourself by a compass. In other words, as I am making decisions on a constant basis, am I making decisions that are in alignment with or are headed in the direction of the destination that I said that I've set for myself? It's a very simple, it's a very powerful model. It says that the smallest chunk of time you should plan for is a week. That if you're into daily planning, you're already into crisis management. So when I'm setting up next week, that schedule for next week, the first thing I do then is think about that sense of vision and mission and purpose that I said that I have in my life. I then review my roles. So I have several roles in my life. I review my roles, and what I'm really checking for there is, as I went through last week, did I live a life that was in balance across the roles that I have in my life? I'm somebody's partner, somebody's parent, grandparent, friend, colleague, supervisor, manager. So I have all of these roles, uncle. How am I doing? You know, am I spending too much time in one role? Have I outlived my usefulness in a particular role? So I'm checking for roles. When I've done that review, I then establish what are my goals for this week? What are my highest priorities for this week? I then plot them into my schedule. So I know Sunday's going to be about this, Monday's going to be about that, Tuesday's going to be about these activities, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I plan my entire week. But life happens. Life is going to happen. So the next element of that process is, as you're walking through the week, as you're making shifts, as you're adapting to attend, as life throws itself at you and you have to move things around, move them around, fine. But do you move them around in ways that still allow you to be consistent with that sense of vision, mission, and value? And then powerfully it says, at the end of the week, look back, do an evaluation, and then start all over again, planning the next week. Bearing in mind that this week's goals are about this month, this quarter, this year, this decade.
I'm going to use my analogy of a trip again, as I did last week. So I'm leaving here, and I want to travel to St. Lucie.
Yes.
As I would have planned it. Okay, I'm leaving at 8:15. I expect to get to St. Lucie by 10 o'clock, for instance, and I'm traveling on my way. So things happen. And as things happen, I met either a roadblock as a consequence of an accident or something. But my mission is to get to St. Lucie, my destination. So I may go off a beaten path and to come back onto the main road to find my destination. And that's what life throws at us. Sometimes we veer off a little bit, but once we understand why it is that we're seeking to do this, then we remain calm enough because we've given and I'm not going to use the word time because I know that's the word we can't use, but I know where I'm going, I understand where I'm going, I understand where I'm going, why I'm going there as well. And so I know that I've built in enough space for things to move around, because I've had to change direction just a little bit, but I will still be able to do so. Next time around, I might very well be able to have a smooth, straight drive down the road. But the reality is, I prepared myself emotionally and intentionally so to be able to manage the moment of getting to St. Lucie. Is that a fair assessment of what you've said to me?
Man, you are awesome. You are awesome. It is a perfect analogy. So when I meet that roadblock, I have a choice to make.
Yeah,
I can spend time here and get consumed with this roadblock, or I can figure out, okay, so there's a blockage here. I know where I want to get to. What is my best route? So I can always divert, and I'm not upset because my mission and my vision, they are calling me. There's something in St. Lucie, using your example, there's something in Lucie that is compelling me to be there at a particular time. So my decision making is easy, and so I know what to say no to.
Yes.
I know what to say yes to. Right, so I say no to stopping and spending time here, and I say yes to because that thing that is ahead of me is compelling enough. And I like the way Jim Brown puts it. He says a compelling way will allow you to overcome any wall.
Say that again.
A compelling way. If I have a compelling reason for being, for doing, for having, then when the hurdles in life show up, the answers will come because the way is compelling enough.
Tony, that's profound. No, I mean, you use somebody as a quote, but that's profound. That I hope sinks in for a lot of our viewers today, because oftentimes, as you said, we don't have a compelling why. We just know that we are robotic in what we're doing, and it's not consciously being sought to do. And so sometimes you have to stop and reflect, and that's what this is about. The journey requires, as it goes, moments of reflection. And so in finding those moments of reflection, then you plan for the next journey adequately with enough time, using that word again, built in, so that you're able to do what you have to do. I told you we can't do this in 8 minutes. It's not your fault. I forgive you though. It's not your fault. But certainly it's a journey we must continue. And so I'm looking forward to next week's engagement with you, because I think for Barbadians watching, it is so important. If we want to change our society, we want to find spaces where we are also personally happy. That space is also within. And so this journey towards emotional intelligence helps us to be able to do so person by person, moment by moment as we go. And with that degree of adaptability, it allows us to be flexible, to give way. But as I keep saying, if you name it, you can tame it, indeed. So that's what's important. So Tony, thanks. I'll see you next week, God's Spare Life, all right?
Thanks, my friend. All the best.
You too. Likewise.
Cheers.
All right. Tony Olton, what a way to end today, indeed. And so, folks, I want to thank you so much for joining me and joining us, because our little crew says thanks to you as well. And with it be God's will, we'll join you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.